Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because we are jumping right into the pages of a fantastic, animated storybook adventure. We're going to explore a super famous, totally wild tale filled with mischievous critters, a very mysterious stranger, and a massive lesson about keeping your word. So, let's just dive right in.
But hey, before we start turning the pages, I want you to really think about something for a second. Imagine waking up, looking out your bedroom window, and realizing your entire town has been taken over by thousands, maybe even millions, of mischievous, squeaking rats. What on earth would you do to solve that? And if a total stranger strolled into town claiming they had magical powers to fix it, would you trust them? Just keep that in the back of your mind as we begin our story.
Okay, so this is where our story actually begins. The small town of Hamelin in Germany. And guys, they had a huge problem. There were literally more rats in the town than there were people. Imagine this, rats in the houses, rats on the streets, rats eating all the bread at the bakery, and even rats running right through the school. The townspeople were completely at their wits' end. They even tried bringing in the town cats, but the rats were so big and there were so many of them that even the fiercest, fluffiest felines couldn't drive them away.
Now, to really understand just how bad things were in Hamelin, we need to unlock some secret vocabulary words for our adventure. First up is menace, which just means a threat or danger. These rats weren't just annoying, they were an absolute menace to the town. And because of this menace, the mayor and his council members found themselves in a real dilemma. That's our second secret word, meaning a crisis or difficult situation. Basically, they had to find a solution, and they had to find it yesterday.
So picture this. The mayor is sitting in the town hall with his council, literally scratching their heads, completely desperate to figure out how to solve this massive rat dilemma. When suddenly, knock, 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 a loud rap at the heavy wooden door just echoes through the room. The mayor puffs up his chest and calls out in his biggest, most important voice, "Come in!"
The heavy door creaks open, and into the hall walks a very, very strange man. He's tall, he's thin, and he has these piercing, sharp blue eyes that almost seem to look right through you. He was wearing this long, sweeping cloak, and wrapped around his neck was a brightly colored yellow and red striped scarf. But the most important detail? Down at the end of that scarf, just hanging by his side, they noticed he was carrying a pipe. You know, like a musical instrument.
The mayor kind of stares at him and asks, "And who are you?" Well, the stranger steps forward and speaks in this smooth, almost musical, totally mysterious voice. He says, "I'm able by means of a secret charm to draw all creatures that creep, swim, fly, or run after me, so as you never saw. People call me the Pied Piper. I can rid your town of all the rats. Will you give me 1,000 guilders?" Yep, he is asking for 1,000 gold coins for his magical services.
Well, the mayor absolutely could not believe his ears. He is so completely desperate to get rid of this rat menace that he doesn't just agree to the price, he practically explodes with excitement. He shouts out, 1,000? We will give you 50,000 guilders. He's promising the piper a massive fortune, literally 50 times what he asked for, as long as there are absolutely no rats in Hamelin by tomorrow.
So the crucial point here is that a deal is struck. The Pied Piper nods, steps right out into the street, and pulls out his pipe. He puts it to his lips and begins playing the strange, magical tune that echoes into every single corner of the town. And suddenly, a mighty rumbling sound starts. Out of the houses come tumbling great big rats, tiny small rats, lean rats, brawny rats. We're talking entire families, brothers, sisters, aunts, tiny cousins, all scurrying out into the street, completely following the music. Which actually brings us to our next secret vocabulary word, enthralled. It means to be spellbound or completely charmed. And let me tell you, the people of the town were completely enthralled as they watched this incredible scene unfold. The rats were just fascinated by the music. The piper played on and on, leading this massive, squeaking army right out of town and straight into the River Weser, where every single one of them was swept away and drowned. Can you even imagine the relief? The people of Hamelin flooded into the streets. They danced with joy. They ran to the churches and rang the heavy bells so loudly that absolutely nothing else could be heard in the whole town. The menace was finally over. The rats were gone.
So, with the town saved, it was time to take care of business. The piper, having perfectly completed his end of the bargain, heads back to the town hall. He walks right up to the mayor and simply says, "Please give me 1,000 guilders as promised." Notice how he didn't even ask for the $50,000 the mayor wildly offered earlier? He just asked for his original, agreed-upon fee.
But then the unthinkable happens. The mayor looks at the piper and he says no. Seriously, the mayor and his council completely refuse to pay the very man who just saved their entire town. The mayor puffs out his chest again, but this time he's just being tricky and greedy. He looks down his nose at the piper and scoffs, 1,000 guilders? You know that was a joke. Come, settle for 50. Besides, we saw the rats drown with our own eyes. They can't come back. I mean, he actually tries to cheat this magical stranger, offering him just a tiny fraction of the reward. No way!
Instantly, the calm, mysterious piper changes. A dark, terrifying anger just flashes across his face. He looks the mayor dead in the eye and issues a seriously chilling warning. Don't joke with me. We had an agreement. You promised me. I can use my pipe in other ways with folks who don't pay me as promised.
Now, I think any wise person would realize they are making a massive mistake right about now. But not this mayor. He arrogantly dismisses the piper, shouting, "Are you threatening us? Go ahead, blow your pipe for all you are worth. What can you do?" Oh, mayor, you really shouldn't have said that.
Bitter and angry, the Pied Piper turns on his heel and steps back out into the town square. He raises the wooden pipe to his lips once again, but this time he doesn't play the strange rumbling tune he played for the rats. No, this time he plays the sweetest, most incredibly beautiful tune anyone had ever heard.
Suddenly, there's this pitter-patter of running feet. But it isn't rats. Out of the houses come all the little boys and girls of Hamlin. They're laughing, chattering, dancing, and singing, completely enthralled by this sweet music. Just like the rats did, they form a massive line, skipping along from every nook, corner, street, and alley, following right behind the Pied Piper as he leads them away.
Meanwhile, inside the town hall, the mayor's arrogance completely vanishes, replaced by sheer absolute terror. He looks out the window and realizes exactly what the piper is doing. He is going to make the children disappear, just like he did with the rats. Complete panic sets in. The mayor runs outside screaming at the top of his lungs, "I'm sorry, we will pay you what you asked for. Please let the children go."
The piper immediately stops playing. He turns around, marches right back to the mayor, and the mayor happily finally hands over the promised sum of money. So let's just do a super quick recap of our wild timeline here. First, the rats totally invade the town. Then, the desperate mayor hires the Pied Piper. The piper uses magic to drown the rats in the river. But wait, the greedy mayor cheats the piper. So the angry piper threatens the town by leading the children away with a new tune, which forces the terrified mayor to finally apologize and pay up. In the end, everyone was finally satisfied, and the piper walked away, never to be seen again.
And that brings us to the most absolutely crucial lesson of our whole explainer today, our value pick. The ultimate takeaway from this amazing story is this: a promise made must be a promise kept. The mayor thought he could just be sneaky and break his word because the immediate danger was gone, but breaking a promise always has consequences. Keeping your word shows people you are trustworthy, which is exactly what our foolish mayor was not.
As we wrap up this incredible tale, I want to leave you all with a few questions to think about. First off, which character in this story did you like the best, and why? Was it the magical, no-nonsense piper, or maybe the kids dancing to the music? And most importantly, what do you think was the real problem in this story? Was it the rats, or was it actually a broken promise? Think about it, discuss it with your friends, and always remember to keep your promises. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.